Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Top Cut. We will be discussing a lot of changes that are happening for the upcoming season tonight. But before we get into that, let's introduce everybody on the show. We'll start off with Drew Holton. How you doing, Drew?
Good. Hanging in there. Woo!
We also have Josue Crims Rojano. Crim,
What
what's
up?
up?
What up? Just chilling.
We have Ben Potter. Ben, how you doing?
Good.
And Pram, how you been?
Doing great.
All right. So the main topic for tonight's show is going to be the big announcement. Well, a lot of announcements for some big changes coming up for this season. But before we jump into that, I guess the World Championships happened, and we should probably talk about that first. To start things off, let's talk about the most important thing, our fantasy draft. And let's go ahead and take a look at the results. In first place, we had the Black Ballistas. Ben, congratulations. You crushed the competition. You had 88 total points, picking not only the winner, Jason Kozinski, but also Dustin Zimmerman, who made top 4. How do you feel after this victory?
You know, I feel good. We did a lot of good things out there. Certainly wasn't meeting our goals, but it was enough to get the job done. As a Black Ballista, manager, I was really aiming for that 200, as is customary with all Black Ballistas. But 88
That would
got
almost
the
be
job
impossible,
done. I aim for the sky, guys. But yep, feels pretty good. And I can't wait to think of something.
Yeah.
To think of
As the
something,
winner, I think our tradition has become you get to pick what the loser has to do. And the loser this time happens to be Team Crimulicious with a total score of 0 points. Not a single point. After your win at U.S. Nationals, the fantasy draft, you came up with a goose egg. What happened, man?
it's easy to blame management. Everybody will blame management when your team falls apart. But in reality, it comes down to the team captain. The team captain has the responsibility of bearing the weight of 5 other players is on his shoulders, and my team captain did not. He just didn't provide the goods, and we do blame Kyle Pukasukovic, our team captain, for our demise.
There was some conflict with management. I'll just leave it at that. So are you afraid of what Ben might make you do?
I mean, would you put it that way? As soon as you put it that way, yeah. There's got to be some rules here, right?
Maybe.
Nothing illegal is.
Yeah, I don't. Jeez,
It's not illegal in Maryland.
Debt for Battle Roads, right? That's what we're doing.
Well,
It's not what I signed up for, guys.
Sure,
What's
it
going
don't
on?
exist anymore. I don't think so.
it's got a point. So I think that just means he can just pick anything because the previous punishment just doesn't exist.
Look, guys. All I'm saying is, I'm a proven champion, so I'm bound to win again. So you guys want to keep it real. You guys want to keep it steady and low, because
You're
odds are
also
you're going to be in.
a proven loser.
Yeah.
Look, man, I'm the first ever Top Cut fantasy draft champion. All right, you can't talk to me like that.
National Fantasy Draft Champion.
All right. So Pram and Drew, you both got 15 points. Pram, who were you most disappointed in? You had Dylan Bryan top 16, but your other 5 players missed.
I can't really single anyone out. They went out there, tried their best, but unfortunately, they were not up to par. But we're gonna retrain. We're gonna work hard for the next season, and we'll look at this year as a lesson for next year.
Now, I know you were very vocal about Chan Park, your dark horse here. He did not make it after starting 5-1. He missed the top 32. What are your thoughts on that?
The system was out to get him, to be honest, on that one. He was doing great, and then the system just got him. Like there was no way he could have avoided it, and it was just a shame, a tragedy that such a thing occurred. But everyone other than Chan Park, who did bad, it's rebuilding year. But Chan Park, you keep on going on because you are our silent hero.
All right, and Drew, the Nature Boys, they went outside the box, picked a lot of Japanese players, but unfortunately you did not pick the correct ones, as Yoneda was the one who went undefeated in Swiss and came through the LCQ. Are you disappointed at all with your picks?
No, not really. I didn't think all the Japanese players would do well. Shintaro kind of got screwed. I'm just gonna lay it out there. He played He was like 3-0, and then he played Sammy, and then he played Jason. So a couple tough pairings there. I'm more disappointed with Jay and Dylan. They really let me down. Those were my high picks, my first and second rounder. You need production out of those spots, and not impressed. I was paying attention to like the standings online because I was at home. And I saw Krim was eliminated like almost right away, so I knew at least I would, if Chase didn't come through, it would be like a tie for last. So I wasn't too upset about it. But Chase, he didn't have too good of a record. I think he had like 2 losses right away and 1 out to make top cut. So he pulled through. He really reached down inside and got that perseverance to.
So what you're saying is I took a bad beat.
Yeah, no.
I took a
You
bad
sealed your own
beat.
fate by
We should have
picking
been
me.
co-losers.
That will go down as the worst draft pick of all time. I think
Whoa.
you picking me in the first round.
Oh god. let me explain how bad of a pick this was. Like I showed up for Worlds the morning of the tournament, and then I looked at what Kyle was playing, and I was 1 card off, and I immediately knew I was gonna have a bad day. And well, look what happened. I had a really bad day. So
Yeah.
yeah, Kyle even finished higher than I did. That's
Yeah.
how bad of a day it was.
Yeah, that's sad. On my team, I did pick Sammy Sakum and Jeremy Jalen. Both of them just lost right away in the top 32, but I'm kind of happy I got 2 of them. But Ben, congratulations again. You were the winner of our fantasy draft. Hats off to you, having the guts to pick Jason Kozinski, who went through the LCQ and then won the World Championship for the 3rd time. So I guess we'll start by talking about that. What does this accomplishment mean to you guys? I mean, nobody has won 2 World Championships besides Jason, and now he won a 3rd one. What does that mean to you guys?
So lucky. No. I take that with a grain of salt. Obviously, he played really well, but oh my god, to even win 1 of those, you have to run so good. To win,
I mean, he admitted it
2 of
himself,
those,
right?
Yeah.
He admitted himself, like he's never ran hotter than he did at this tournament.
To win 2 of those, you have to run good again, and then to win 3 of them at the same. It was. He never had a bad matchup, but at a crucial moment. He didn't have a bad matchup until a crucial moment.
Well, he had a bad matchup in the last round of the LCQ. He had to play against Kling Klang.
That is true.
That's not a good matchup. And he,
I actually sat down and watched those
It's not
games,
even
man.
that bad though. It's like
That wasn't a bad matchup because it was the one that relied on special energy. The guy only ran 2 basic energy, so Enhanced Hammer and Sableye just kind of runs wild. And he runs instead of running like Floatstone and Switch, he ran Darkrai and Keldeo. So those like have to hit the field if his Kling Klang gets catchered, which those aren't metal Pokemon. So it's not as bad as you'd think, but still probably a bad matchup.
I don't even know if that was bad. That's like probably at worst 50-50.
Yeah.
And then at best you kind of hammer them out of the game. So I would even go so far as to say that was a good matchup. So
agree to disagree.
I'm with Ben here.
He also had to play against numerous Blastoise decks throughout the tournament.
I think
That's
he only
not
played 1 actually.
He played against 2 total between 2 tournaments, and 1 he got lucky to beat in 2 out of 3 in the LCQ, because he won on like time on game 3, and then the second one he lost to in the main tournament, but it was at a round where he was already in.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter.
Krim, were you going to say something?
I don't remember what I was going to say, so no. I'll be
All right.
honest.
So I guess the big story would be Jason won again. That is some huge news. But, it's not the only story we had. We had a lot of crazy stuff happening. Of course, the tournament was streamed. Krim, you were one of the commentators. That was a big step forward for Pokemon.
And for me.
Yeah. And I guess two of the big stories would be some of the TCG matches that were streamed. And I guess, again, we have to talk about Jason Kozinski. But how about Dylan Bryan? That ridiculous Flareon, Garbodor, Drifblim, Landorus, Terrakion.
You're still forgetting a
Audino.
couple.
Audino.
You're forgetting a couple.
Audino, Leafeon,
Yeah.
Espeon. Okay. I mean, I
I
ran
think
a
he
lot
had-
of Pokemon.
Okay, I guess I'm not supposed to say his deck list, but I believe he had multiple Audinos in his list.
He
It was
posted
4.
the list.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, he had 4 Audinos in his list, and like that. All right, I'll tell you guys a story real quick. We were throughout the Swiss rounds, we were taking a look at all the different decks. At least I was, and a couple of the other commentators joined along. And all of a sudden, Dylan Mayo, who was a co-commentator with us, just like runs up to me and he goes like, "Krim, have you seen the deck Dylan Bryan's playing?" And I just said, "Yeah," because I mean I did see Dylan Bryan playing, but he was shuffling up or whatever. Like it was very early in the game. But then he's like, "What do you think about this deck?" And I mean I didn't know very much about it, so I didn't like really get excited over it. And then he's like, "Well, let's go take a look at it," because he was X-1 at that point. And sure enough, like I look at that thing and I'm like, what do these things do? I get scared immediately. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to commentate this. And that makes me study his deck list and everything like that. And then I mean I follow him throughout the tournament just because it's such a cool story that such an awkward off the wall deck is just doing so well. And he had some awesome matches. He had some really good matches, and I'm happy that he actually made it to the top 16 because I really did want him to be featured. I didn't want him to be featured with me casting it because I was gonna be pretty nervous about saying all these random attack names and everything like that. But I'm glad that deck got featured because I mean for somebody to be that creative and to do so well is just really cool to see.
Yeah. We even got to see an Audino use Hip Bump. That's
That's awesome.
That was fun. Yeah.
yeah. So I think that was one of the coolest stories. What did you guys think? I mean, was that the most creative deck? There were a lot of different decks that did well this year, which was kind of unexpected. There were a lot of different variants. Anybody can speak up. What was like your favorite deck that you saw this year that was just kind of like crazy?
I think if we're going with that much of a limitation on what we can pick, crazy would be like that deck, the Flareon one.
Or even just like a creative, like twist on a regular deck.
Ross Cawthon's deck was really awesome, right?
A what?
Ross Cawthon's.
Yeah, that was a fun deck too.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as much, but because the win condition was kind of very slow. But I enjoyed Dylan's deck, at least watching it play for a little bit. It has a terrible Darkrai matchup though.
Yeah, as we saw.
Yeah.
As he fell to Jason, even with the that game loss in Game 2, which I'm sure everybody knows about by now. But all right, Ben, what was a deck that you liked from World Championships?
I really didn't get a chance to look at that many different decks. There was certainly a lot of interesting ways people were building decks. I saw a Blastoise list only ran 11 energies, and that was pretty cool. It had 4 Beach in it. I think that was James Good's list, and that was pretty interesting.
Yep.
And that's another interesting take on Blastoise, and it proves that you can do a lot of different things with your deck list and still perform well. And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just to give you guys an idea, the top 32 had a ton of different decks. There were probably no decks that were exactly the same. Sammy and Jason both ran straight Darkrai, which was probably about as close as the deck list got. But I mean, there were a couple Blastoise Keldeo decks that didn't run Black Kyurem. There were Kling Klang decks, straight Kling Klang, and the ones with Prism and Blend. There were Speed Lugia decks. Johnny Rabus, he made top 8 with a Lugia Plasma deck that ran no Hypnotoxic Laser. They ran Frozen City instead. Chase Maloney, Drew's pick, he ran Darkrai with Getsis to try to disrupt Blastoise players. I mean, there's all sorts of crazy stuff. And
There's
I guess
a Plasma deck with Cobalion EX, and I forget what else it had in it.
Yeah.
Enhanced Hammers, I think. That was
Yep.
pretty cool.
Yeah, there was the Darkrai Garbodor that Takuya Oneta used to make top 8. But then there was Dustin Zimmerman's Darkrai Garbodor that was completely different, that revolved around Sableye, Crushing Hammer, and Enhanced Hammer. So I guess, Drew, we'll throw it to you. What do you think about Dustin's big accomplishment, making it to the top 4 with that crazy deck?
I was just so happy for him to finally go far in a big event. He's been playing so long, and he really doesn't have a signature finish. And for him to get that was awesome. And with the deck he made, I think last year he kind of worked with Harrison on that deck, and he did poorly, so he kind of felt bad about that. I think this year for him I think he worked with Harrison again and actually went far with the deck they tested is awesome. And a good player, if they sit down and work on a deck, they're gonna do well with it. They work out the kinks, they're patient, stuff like that. So I'm all for a player playing a deck they're confident in, and clearly he was confident in his choice.
I actually have a fun story about that deck. Apparently, according to Dustin, he got that from me when we randomly met up on PTCGO. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. So
Humble brag.
Oh yeah.
That's not even humble. It's just
There is
brag.
nothing humble about that
Hey, man.
at all.
So I'll just take credit for that. It's all me. I swear. No, but that was a pretty fun little story that he told me.
Yeah, and actually, I'm doing an interview with Dustin where he's going to break down his deck. We'll have that on our site shortly. So it'll be cool to get his take on, how he came up with all this stuff, justifying every card in his list, because he has posted his list online. It was pretty crazy. He also ran Life Dew to junk hunt it with Sableye to just, keep not giving up a prize with Sableye. So you pretty much would just junk hunt your opponent out of the game. That was the point of the deck. Kind of a cool concept. But Krim, I guess you're the last one here. What was your favorite deck you saw at the World Championships?
My favorite deck. I'm just gonna go with Jason's deck because I really do like. I thought that it was in its simplicity, it was incredible. It managed to do relatively well against enough matchups that he gave himself the consistency boost that he needed to be able to perform, well in every game or in every match, throughout the tournament, which obviously helped him, especially when it comes, from coming up from the LCQ. But I do want to take one moment to talk about Japanese dominance in the LCQ because I think that didn't get enough airtime, period, in any type of news thing. But really, I mean, the Japanese players did incredibly well. I saw them knocking each other out of the LCQ while the tournament was going on, and I was just sitting there like, this is incredible. The only way these guys are losing is if they're losing to each other. Obviously, Yamato lost in the third round, and that was unfortunate because he's kind of the face of Japanese Pokemon. But I mean, from Yaneda to I believe there was 2 more Japanese players that actually qualified. So that was 3 out of 8, and there's only a handful of them that went into this giant LCQ, and I don't know, it was just awesome. So I really do want to take my hat off to them because they honestly showed to me throughout the entire weekend, including Yaneda's deep run, that they're just as much of a force as they've always been, even dating back to 2004, if not more so. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what they come up with for 2014 Worlds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really wanted to mention that because I feel like it needs more airtime.
Definitely. I mean, Japanese players don't really get a lot of invites, so the LCQ is really like it for a lot of them. And yeah, we saw 3 Japanese players make it through. I believe 2 of them ended up making top 32. Obviously, Yoneda did. He went 8-0 in Swiss, and then made it all the way to top 8 until finally losing to James Good, which
And
was
not only that, yeah, like the undefeated run throughout X amount of time, like that's dominant right there. Like that's ridiculous. You go back to the LCQ. That's what 6 rounds, right?
Yep.
6 rounds plus the 8 of Swiss. That's 14 plus a couple more or one more.
He was 16 in a row before he finally
16
lost.
in a row. That's incredible. So that is unfortunate that a single loss knocked him out of this entire weekend, but it's kind of the way things happen.
Yeah, and I don't know if any of you guys caught the match between James Good and Yoneda. Obviously, Krim did. He was there. Yeah. What did you guys think of that match? I think that was actually one of the most exciting matches I saw the whole weekend.
So proud of being to be the one commentating it.
I think I was playing with people at the time, that match, so I didn't get to catch it.
Yeah, I know Kyle and I watched it, but Drew, did you see it?
No.
Okay. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus like that. I was expecting a yes, to be honest.
That hurts deep, fam.
Sorry.
That should be me.
I just remember watching.
Hey, you couldn't make it to Worlds, Drew?
I just remember watching the series, and every game it was just like, turn 2. All right, James has got another rare candy Blastoise and a Silent for 3 energy. I think that happened like 3 games in a row. It was crazy.
It was a lot of turn 2 Blastoise, and it was like, oh my god. How does if Yoneda ran Crushing Hammer, like auto win, almost like he had a position where a bunch of like chances where he could have like won the match and hammered him out. But because he didn't, it was like, how do you deal with this?
Yeah. But yeah, I think a couple of the games it was turn 2 Blastoise and Wartortle, and I was just like, oh man.
Yeah.
And when Blastoise gets that set up, it's unbeatable. And congrats to James for making it all the way to top 4. That was his rookie season, actually. Makes it to the top 4 at Worlds. That's
so
incredible.
crazy.
Yeah. So, big props to James. Also to Dustin, of course, for the big finish. And the other guy we haven't talked about is Simon Narode. Was a second-year player. Made it all the way to the finals until running into Jason, who just apparently doesn't lose when he gets to the finals.
Yeah.
So, all these guys will be going back to DC next year. That is where Worlds is going to be held on the following year. What do you guys think about the location?
Love it.
So excited. I never go sightseeing ever, literally. Whenever we go to these tournaments, but I'm gonna go early. I'm gonna probably stay after for another day or two. Just there's so many sites that I really want to see in DC, and I couldn't be more happy. Plus, I get to hang out with my friends.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's really nice. As far as cost, obviously, and I've been in the city quite a few times, and it's a pretty nice city. The only thing I don't like is that I don't get to travel somewhere new and somewhere cool. Obviously, if money wasn't an issue, like go to Paris, Japan, whatever. All kinds of crazy locations. What? And I think that would be really cool to go all these different places. Something really nice. I might actually live in DC come Worlds next year, so that would be extremely nice.
Yeah, it's cool. Get to show my boys around town.
Similar to like me in San Diego, really. Like that's so awesome. You get to drive there. You don't have to worry about flying or anything like that.
Friends, just so we're all clear.
Wait, what?
What?
Nothing.
Drew, what do you think about the location?
Well, I like how close it is to me. I've been to DC before in like 8th grade for school. I think everyone goes to DC in this area. But yeah, I really like the location. I don't have to fly. I don't have to take off a ton of days of work if I want to go to Worlds. It's basically the upside for me, and hopefully it's towards the beginning of the August. That's all. That's all I want.
Yep. I guess that wraps up Worlds. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we move on?
Canada was a beautiful place. Yeah, Vancouver specifically.
I had a really good time, man. I had a lot of fun talking to everybody at Worlds.
Not having cell phones and everything sucked,
Yeah.
but even though at the time I was just sitting there like, man, this is the worst decision of all time, crossing my arms and everything like that. Once I actually came home, I couldn't have been happier that it was in Canada, and like just seeing that awesome city it's a nice memory to have.
Yeah, it made it so I made sure I was never alone. I was always with someone. I was like, if I go off on my own, I'll never see anyone again.
It's true.
What? Because you'll get lost?
No, because like
You can't communicate.
Yeah, you can't like get in contact with anyone. So,
For example, when Kyle and the rest of us were gonna hang out, like we would seriously tell each other 14 hours before we'd hang out, like, oh yeah, by the way, meet here at 9 a.m. or whatever. It's like, all right, well, let's hope we all remember, because otherwise there's gonna be some people just sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah. And by the way, Worlds, the dates are announced already. It's August 15th through the 17th. So.
Oh, that's a horrible time for me.
August 15th through the 17th?
Yes.
Probably can't go to Worlds.
Wait, why is it a horrible time? Tell me later.
So, yeah.
All right. Honestly, Worlds is always a blast, and I love Worlds. I love meeting everybody. I love seeing everybody. But I didn't like the location, I'll be honest. A lot of the time, it felt like we really weren't welcome there. We were kicked out of the open gaming room at midnight. Every year, we usually have an open gaming room just to hang out with everybody. But it really just didn't feel like we were welcome the entire time we were there. It just always felt like we were kind of intruding. So, I don't know. I didn't like that aspect of it, that's for sure.
Certainly, I think that's more of the specific location that the Worlds was held, like, the convention center or whatever. And that kind of sucked.
Yeah,
Whenever it's always been in a hotel until this year, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was a big difference, is that it's not in a hotel, so it's not 24 hours. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's in a hotel for years to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a reflection on Vancouver or anything. I thought Vancouver itself was great, but the actual convention center location, I did not like that, honestly. I wouldn't want to go back there, but maybe that's just me. All right. I guess we can cover the Top Cut Invitational as well. Might as well. So we had our 8 players. Unfortunately, Harrison Levin wasn't able to show up, and he was replaced by Jason Kozinski. But we still had a great turnout. And then Ryan Sablehouse ended up beating Edmund Kuras in the finals. Jay Woods and Sammy Sakum were the other top 4 finishers. What did you think of this year's tournament, and were there any big surprises for you? We'll start with Grim.
Good. That eye contact didn't work. Really proud of my boy Edmund. I knew that he was, I've always known he's a really good player, especially, since I first met him, he started beating me immediately. And to see him...
Doesn't everybody?
Apparently not. But Edmund's, it was more than likely his last tournament at least for the foreseeable future. So to see him do well and come so close to getting a win was really awesome. And to see Ryan actually do as well as he did and actually win it really established him as, having this dominant season that he did, and it was like the perfect icing on the cake. Unfortunately for Jason, he did not follow up his World's victory with the Top Cut Invitational victory, which would have just been incredible, but he still played, and we have to thank him for that because he did replace Harrison Levin. I'm really interested in next year's tournament. I really do want to see more players. I'm just going to throw his name out there. I really want to see Ross Cawthon participate in this tournament, and as well as a few others. But yeah, proud of everybody. Happy for the results. And Jay Woods, actually, I should mention Jay Woods as well, because Jay Woods surprised everybody. including himself apparently. But that was awesome. It was awesome to see him, do so well and have so much fun. And we really do appreciate Jay was playing in the Invitational because I'm telling you, man, we were really tired at the end of that day. At the end of the commentary day, it was just like I wanted to kick my shoes off and everything like that. But and to see him like come straight down and play was awesome. So thank you very much.
Yeah, it's actually funny. Like when we were setting up for the tournament, Josh was just kind of sitting at the table and shuffling his deck and just kind of sitting peacefully. And then like I was running around, Pram was running around. We were like trying to set everything up, and people were like approaching us all the time, and it was just crazy. And Josh was just sitting there like, this is really nice. For once, I'm not being mobbed by people. You guys are. So I get to actually relax for a little bit. Thank you. I was like, you're welcome, I guess. All right. What about Pram? What did you think of the tournament?
Overall, I think it went really well. The only downside was we had to limit the tournament format due to the venue. Yep. But other than that, I thought we saw some fun games. I did not expect an Evil's Mirror in the finals.
Oh.
But that was fun. I had a good time doing that, watching that, and all that. But yeah, I think deep down I was hoping for Josh to go all the way. I was like, oh man, show him wrong, show everyone who who talks smack, just get him. But yeah, I think the event went well, and everyone had a good time and played. And thank you to everyone who donated prizes for it. It was overwhelmingly like more than I was expecting. So thank you to everyone for that.
Yeah, big thank you to Legacy Cards. They supported us a lot. If you guys want to give back to them, they supported us. It's legacycardshop.com. Should give them one last shout out. They donated a lot of prizes. Same for High Tide Games in Maryland. I know, Ben, you're good friends with the guy who owns that shop. They helped us out a lot too. And a lot of other people donated prizes. So thank you to everybody who did that. And Ben, what'd you think about the tournament?
I thought the tournament was really cool. The only thing I was disappointed about is we didn't get more best 2 out of 3s and, stuff like that. But obviously the time constraints were, an issue. We could only be there for so long, and we finished just as, the lights went out, So, but overall, the tournament was a success, and I really enjoyed watching competition at the highest level. And every single player brought that.
Yeah. The finals was awesome. Unfortunately, the first 3 games were terrible.
Yeah.
It was just
pretty much all the ones I got to watch.
Yeah. But the top 4 was a good game between Sammy and Edmund, and then the finals was awesome. The rematch of U.S. Nationals, Edmund and Ryan. And, of course, Ryan ended up winning the tournament. Drew, did you get a chance to catch it at all?
Yeah, I watched the first game or 2, I think. It started really late because it was on the West Coast, obviously, and after Worlds, too. So I had to work in the morning. I couldn't really stay up that late. But it looked good. It was a little delayed, but, you'll have that.
Yeah.
Overall, a nice effort. I like to watch that every year, so good stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun tournament. But I guess that wraps it up. Congrats to Ryan. Anything else before we move on to, I guess, the main topic of the show?
That's it.
All right. So, today, a huge... What's that?
No, I just said looking forward to next year. So.
Oh, yeah. Me too. All right. So, today, huge announcements from Pokemon Company International and Play Pokemon. Lots of different things to talk about. The first one, we'll just jump right into it. Battle Roads have moved to leagues. So at the end of each league season, there will be a league challenge instead of Battle Roads. It'll be just like Battle Roads, but it'll be held at local leagues. We'll probably have more details coming out soon. It's just going to be the same format, the same everything. I think the same championship points, the same best finish limit, everything like that. But instead of having set times for Battle Roads, it'll be at the end of every league season. what do you guys think about this change first? And we'll start with Pram.
I think that's actually a good change. So before it used to be you had a lot of people like just swarming battle roads at the end to get their points into Worlds, and you saw a lot of people get their last couple points in the Worlds from that. But now there's only going to be 8 of them. I think that's the way, to my understanding, that you can only attend like 8 battle roads total. So
yeah, because there's 8 league seasons, and I think the league seasons for all the leagues, they all end at the same time.
yeah.
I think so. It would make sense that they would all happen like on the same day. They might not though, so maybe you can attend more.
Yeah, it might be like same.
League isn't
weekend.
always on the same day though, right?
I think it's like same weekend.
No.
Probably you can do it. There might be like differences between Saturday and Sunday depending on a league location, but probably I think the way I understood it, it's like same weekend, so you can realistically only attend 8, and you get only the best 6 of those count. So it's very unlikely that someone will get a full 90 points out of this, assuming that's what they're going to be worth.
Oh. I'm going to have my mom set up a league at the St. George's Island Church. And I will be the only participant. And I'm going to get my 90 points.
Well, outside of those, but I think this will help out the legitimacy of. I'm gonna keep calling it Battle Roads for now, but it's like the League Premier Tournament or something, or I don't know, League of the Month tournament. I think it'll help it out, and in terms of adding legitimacy to the World's path, because there's only 8 of them you can go to, and you can't go to like 20 of them, so it's good. I think overall it's a good change.
Yeah.
I guess I want to say, are you sure that we can only go to 8? Because it doesn't make sense.
The way I understand it is you can only go to 8. Now, I could be wrong, but the way I understood it was at the end of each league season, there is a end of the league season tournament, which is now the Battle Road, and that's when you can get your championship points from it.
But for example, Phoenix, I believe, has like multiple leagues running on different days. I
Right.
want to say Phoenix does.
Right.
So, I mean, you could theoretically go to 2 different...
I think they would have to be on the same
tournaments a
weekend,
week.
and I think there should even be a further requirement that only one can count per league season.
I mean, we still don't have all the details for this stuff. I don't think it'll come out soon, so we're just kind of guessing at this point.
Yeah.
But all we know for sure is that battle roads are gone, but they're going to be replaced with these league challenges.
Yeah, I think there should be like some kind of restriction or pseudo restriction to where you can only participate in 1 per league season, and I think that would be fine.
You know what? We will wait and see for those things, because I guess there should be like a giant asterisk by this entire conversation, where we do not have like the full details for any of these things. So our what we say now will definitely change according to the more details we get. But
Yeah.
as of right now, that's up in the air. So it'll be interesting to see if they cap it or not.
Yeah, I mean that's just the
agree
way
with
I understood it when I read the information and based on like how I just thought about it. But yep, that's what I think.
It feels like they're trying to make battle roads less of a competitive thing and more of a local thing. Do you guys think that's a good or a bad thing?
It wants people to get involved in here's casual entry level competitive tournament, and then persuade people to compete in larger tournaments. And if that works and more people compete in the bigger tournaments, then that's absolutely fantastic.
I think overall it's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Is it going to be? I believe that they said that all premier events are going to be charged, right? Like they're all going to be cost money.
We'll get to
Also,
that.
I think it was all city and up.
City championship and higher.
So this would
City
not.
championship and
I think
higher.
I
Okay.
believe this would be free.
So then
Yeah,
that would
so
be a
the-
good reason to have this, because it stays local, it stays league, it stays at league only, and it gives the people that don't necessarily want to pay money, money for these events, which we'll get into soon. It gives them the ability to still play in tournaments. So
Well,
Very big
I
fan
actually think it said that it was tournament organizers' discretion for these tournaments. I'm pretty sure it did.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
still, it gives them
like,
the
if
option.
it was like $5 or something, because they need like for the store or something, that wouldn't be too bad or something. But maybe they'll be free too. We don't know yet.
If the league is like at a library, then it has to be free. No, I'm serious. There are.
I don't what.
I'm serious. If, at a library.
Oh,
A library.
I'm gonna have some strawberries.
But
So messed up.
You had to call him out, huh, Ben?
Don't you lie, Barry.
hey man, whatever.
I like how Ben just keeps instigating. Oh, what?
Yeah,
His eyes are really wide.
The point is, those have to be events at those like type of locations have to be free. Like any like public location, I'm pretty sure have to be free. But other than that, like card shops can be. I think it's at user's discretion. So.
Okay. Drew, you have any thoughts on this switch?
Yeah, I think it's a great switch. We had some like pokey parents complaining about travel last year, and I think cutting down battle roads really helps them out. Sure they're going to go to the local leagues, but they were going to those anyway. So I think it's a really good way to sort of ease back the stress of a really long season.
Yeah, I kind of like this. Battle roads should probably be like a less competitive kind of event, kind of a lower level thing for new players to kind of jump into competitive play without being like a super serious event. And last year, battle roads were really competitive. Like one of the first ones I went to had at least 60 players in Masters. I think even more. Like these were huge tournaments for a battle road, and that's intimidating for like a new player to show up and like all these like world's caliber players are competing for these like 15 points or whatever. That's tough for someone to kind of like jump in there, and especially because the system was just like straight Swiss, so it was extremely difficult for a new player to actually do well at a battle road. So I kind of like this switch. Anything else we want to say before we move on to the next topic? Nope. All right. So the next one is a pretty big one. This is a big shift in how tournaments we played. Starting this season, any event higher than a city championship, so that'll be states, regionals, nationals, and worlds, I guess. Swiss rounds will be best 2 out of 3 50-minute rounds. And to go along with that, ties and draws, I guess intentional draws by default, will have to return. There will be a maximum of a top 8 cut, no more top 16, top 32, or whatever. And sometimes they're going to do 2 days of Swiss when we have these 2-day events. So you'll have, like Swiss the first day, and then whoever has good enough records to play in day 2, they'll come back and finish the Swiss rounds, and then they'll cut to a top 8. So I guess we'll start with best 2 out of 3 for Swiss. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I guess
Whoever wants to take it.
I'll take it. Love it. 2 out of 3. Really, there was a lot of people were frustrated with playing the one game, and you would just sit down sometimes, and then you would stand right back up because you just got T1'd. So this is gonna help alleviate that. It reduces a lot of luck that's in the game by having it 2 out of 3, and I know it's 50 minutes, but people will just have to learn to play faster. Like, that's just simply what it's gonna have to be. You just have to learn to play faster. So overall, I enjoyed the change, and I enjoy the more Swiss rounds. I always thought the perfect cut into a giant top cut was a little ridiculous because you were playing like a preliminary tournament into the actual single elimination tournament, and it felt like 2 separate tournaments. And then eventually, you would, if you won, you ran the hottest of the day, and it wasn't like it was a little silly, but so I'm glad to see this change happen.
All right, Drew, what do you think? 2 out of 3.
I think it's a great change. People are complaining about 50 minutes, but at least it's a start. I liked the bigger cuts before just because it was a way to get to 2 out of 3 faster. I like that they're increasing Swiss, and I'm fine with the smaller cuts as long as we get 2 out of 3 in Swiss now, which is it's just awesome. It really eliminates those donks from the old days. You might 50 minutes might not be enough time to play 2 out of 3. That's gonna if you get donked one game, you still have a chance. So that's a really great switch.
Yep. What are your thoughts?
I'm glad you're breaking this up, because otherwise I would have gone into like this hour-long rant. I will start by saying that this is the one change that I actually don't like, the 2 out of 3. And I actually like the 2 out of 3 in general. I just don't like the 50-minute time limit. I think that the 50-minute time limit does make for a lot of draws. I'm going to assume that if you don't complete a third game, then it's going to end up a draw. I don't think that the floor price system would work. But then again, this is all one giant asterisk. I have no idea if that's the way it's going to be or not. But if you have to complete the game for it to count, then you're going to see a lot of draws. You're going to see a lot of bad situations happen where you're going to. I'm just not a fan of the 50 minutes. I wish that if they were going to go through with this, they would have gone through with 60 plus. Hopefully they give PTO's discretion for this stuff, but if they don't, then that's going to be an issue. What did I want to say about this too? I'm pretty fired up about the 50-minute 2 out of 3. Oh yeah, I did want to say that I don't think they promised more Swiss rounds. By the way, they promised a lot of things, but I read this thing like 3 times, and unless I overlooked it, which is definitely possible, I don't think they ever promised more Swiss rounds. I think that's just like a rumor that's being spread around the community.
Well,
The way I read it, like 2 days, right?
The way I read
Swiss.
it, I interpret it was more Swiss rounds.
You have to remember, man. Like, you're not like adding more time because you're cutting the top 8, because you're now making these 30-minute rounds, 50-minute rounds. So it's not like these people are magically adding X amount of time to this tournament. What they're doing is they're just allocating the time differently. So I'm pretty sure you're not going to see more Swiss. And if you do, it's only going to be like 1 to 2 more, I'm sure. I don't think we're going to be seeing 13-round regionals and stuff like that. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I would love to see that. I think that would make a lot more sense, but I don't expect to see it. I don't expect to see something that major. So again, giant asterisk, but from what I can tell, I don't expect more Swiss rounds, but I don't think that's a bad thing, and we'll get to that soon. But the 2 out of 3 is the only thing that really rubs me the wrong way about everything we've been covering so far, and that's because of the 50-minute time limit. 60-minute time limit, you would have gotten 2 thumbs up for me. 50 minutes leaves for a lot of room for mistakes, and I would prefer to have like 14 rounds of Swiss as long as it was 1-game match compared to what we're probably going to have.
Well,
but we'll have to wait and see.
I have a little example for you. Now this is going to go way back, but at Worlds 2002 was 2 out of 3 Swiss. Way back in the Wizards era, and what you saw was everyone was playing slowly in the first couple rounds, and you saw a lot of matches go to time. But as people got accustomed to playing under this format of 50 minutes, towards the end, no one was going on the time. So, I think it's it's something people can just get used to, and then it'll be fine. Like, sure, the first event, maybe the 2 events, you'll see a lot of people playing too slowly, but then people will just learn how to play quicker.
Based on what we've heard, it does seem like they actually will add more Swiss rounds. That's kind of the impression I get. It doesn't really make sense to just cut the top 8 and do the same number of Swiss rounds. And basically, they're only doing the 2 out of 3 Swiss for states and above. And states might turn into a 2-day event. Regionals is already mandatory 2 days. Nationals is 3 days. Worlds is 2 days. So there's definitely time to add in these extra Swiss rounds. And I think that's what we're going to see. It'll be more Swiss rounds. It'll be best 2 out of 3, and then they'll just go to a smaller cut, much like Magic does. What do you got to say about that, Krim?
Asterisk, giant asterisk. I want more details. As soon as they give us more details, I'll have more things to say. What's up?
And we have confirmation in the chat. They have announced more Swiss rounds.
All right, awesome. That's one less thing to be concerned about. The 50 minutes is still an issue to me, but more Swiss rounds is awesome. Hopefully we get I want to see how many more Swiss rounds we're going to get. I will go into, I guess we might as well cover this now. Having to, the IDs and everything like that, that's really going to make for a really complicated system where you might be able to intentionally draw. I want to see exactly how many losses you can have before you're eliminated from the top 8. I'm hoping for 2. I'm hoping to choose the number that I'm hoping for. If you have to go X1-1, then that's a bummer to me. But I hope that 2 losses would get you. So that's what I'm hoping for. We'll have to wait and see.
I have some input. So when we get to the top cut format, but does anyone else have anything to say about 2 out of 3 Swiss?
Yeah, I just think Krim's so bad at math. He's getting all worked up about it. We had draws before, man. It was fine. It was fine. Everything worked out in the past.
What are you talking about?
You're just getting worked up about how many draws and losses people need. I just let it go, man.
I mean it's a legitimate concern. Okay, I'll give you the same example I've been using this entire day when people have been messaging me privately. At the SEG Open that I played in, and granted this is a completely different game, so again asterisk. But at the SEG Open that I played in just recently, I was 7-1 going into the final round of Swiss. Round. I was the 4th seed, and there was only 9 of us that were eligible to go into the top 8 or whatever. As the 4th seed, I could not intentionally draw, because if I intentionally draw and one of 2 people won their match, I would be eliminated in 9th place. So to not be able to intentionally draw at X1, again, this is a different game or whatever, really makes you wonder, where is this going to fit for Pokemon? What kind of a record am I going to have? So yeah, I think it's a legitimate concern. I can't wait for these things to be answered, but that's about as a legitimate concern as you're going to get. Like, I lived that. I lived where I had to play my final round with an X1 record. I had a 7-1 record going to round 9. I mean, and to be the 4th seed and not be able to draw or whatever, and have to go 8-1 to top 8, because if I would have been 7-2 or 8-1 or 7-1-1, I would have missed that top 8. That means a lot. So that's just the concern that I have.
I have maybe a counterpoint. Wasn't that perfect Swiss?
No.
There was an extra round. It had extra rounds?
Yep. Had 1 extra round.
I don't think 1's enough if you're going to, do a top 8.
They had their final undefeated at the end of round 8. At the end of round 8. So the 9th round, the undefeated went, just ID'd.
Yeah, but, you can run into that on a perfect Swiss, where, if the numbers are off a little bit, in terms of entry numbers, you can have it undefeated in a perfect Swiss scenario before the final round. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a perfect
Swiss. I think that they always cap, no matter how many players, they always cap at 10 rounds of Swiss in that tournament series.
But you went 7-1, and then...
Yeah.
There's always going to be problems with people missing with high records. I mean, that's just the nature of tournament play. This is probably a worse problem when it was just the system we have now with single games, so... I think that's on the bottom of everyone's concern list right now.
Yeah. I do want to mention that it's sounding like I'm against all these things, and like I said, I'm pro everything here. I'm pro everything that was announced today, with the exception of the 50-minute 2 out of 3. That's the only thing that I actually have a legitimate concern with. But I do want to voice that concern, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be put in that situation where they're just going to start complaining about not being able to make the top 8 when they were 8-1 or whatever coming into the last round. So
just gotta win more, man. Just gotta win more.
So
yeah, you tell everyone.
I guess since we're talking about intentional draws into top cut, my point I was going to make is a little relevant. But so basically, how towards the end of the tournament for intentional draws, maybe the top tables are a little empty, right? Typically, maybe except for 1 or 2, but most of them are empty because they all drew in. What if for top 8 they just made it so the higher seed just goes first, and so it would give people incentive to not draw at the higher seed tables?
That would be awesome. That would be incredible.
I mean, I know they do that in the Magic Pro Tour, so
yeah. Yeah,
I
that's what I'm saying.
and
It would be
that's a system I actually enjoy a lot. I think that's a subtle enough reward for going first seed, and for doing well, for doing better than the people below you, and yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah, agree.
Oh, are you gonna say something?
No. I was just gonna say I agree. That again, I don't want to make it sound like I don't like the match play. The system that we're gonna have this time coming around. I think it's definitely an improvement from what we have today. So I want to make that known because it sounds like I'm being negative or whatever, but I'm just voicing concerns.
All right.
Now let's
Cover
move on.
that. We'll move on to the next topic, which is another huge one, and that is entry fees are back for Masters players only. So juniors and seniors will continue to have free tournaments, but the Masters players will have to pay entry fees for premier events, and this also means that prizes will go up thanks to the entry fees. This is something that players have been asking for a long time. There's always been some concerns how you would handle it with juniors and seniors, but they have finally decided to kind of separate the Masters out and say, all right, you guys are older, you can pay, and we'll up the prizes for you. This is a huge change. The fees are determined by the TO, but in general, what do you think about entry fees now for premier events? And we'll start with Ben.
I like them. It's a normal thing. It's not weird. We get more prizes. It's a little strange that we gotta pay it, but juniors and seniors don't. But that's okay. Even if the prizes are the same, I
Prizes
guess
are
it's fine.
not the same.
It's like
Oh.
we're on a
We get
completely
more.
different we're on a
Okay.
completely different price scale than.
Then you know what? I'm
Juniors
perfectly
and
fine
seniors.
with that. You know what? That works great. I think it's fine.
Yeah, like ours is like based on attendance sometimes, and then there's a
As
bunch
long
of
as I'm like not paying like $100 to get into a city championship, and they doubled the prize support, and that was it. That
also
would
like
be
I
bad.
think the way I read it, at least and this is kind of skipping ahead a little bit, the prize payout for your ranking before Nats is only for Masters.
Yeah,
But-
we'll cover that.
Yeah.
Krim, what are your thoughts on entry fees?
Oh man, huge round of applause to them for making this bold move because it's a very bold move. It's definitely not going to be greeted positively by everybody. Matter of fact, I think the very first concerns that were voiced this morning, because I mean obviously I was posted and glued to every forum I could think of. The very first concerns that were voiced were by people that said, "Oh man, you guys screwed up! I can't believe you guys are making me pay for this tournament." And then, I mean, these people had some of the people that were voicing this concern stated that they were that they don't normally win these tournaments, that they just go to hang out. They go to hang out with their friends, and they go, they know that they're not going to do well at this tournament, but they don't mind because it's a free event. They're just hanging out with friends. That's a legitimate concern. I understand that. I understand that you're not used to having to pay because and you're okay with playing this because you're playing in a free event and you feel like you've earned it because you've purchased these cards or whatever. That's fine. I realize that. I feel like the Masters division has always been more competitive than the seniors and the juniors. I feel like the vast majority of the competitive scene, which is really, I mean, this is called competitive play for a reason. These are premier events for a reason. This competitive scene has always wanted this kind of a change. Like, it's not fun to have to drive 4 hours, 5 hours, fly out, to these events and win a booster box. That sucks. That honestly sucks. And that's always been a major concern for these players is just like, dude, I win to break even. And that's true. And hopefully this definitely changes that. It's not I'm hoping that it's not going to be expensive. I don't want to say it's not going to be expensive because it's, not guaranteed. But as long as it's not expensive, I mean, think of it as something that probably should have been done a while ago. Think of it as something that's like, I mean, you're paying X amount of money to buy these cards or whatever. If you want to play in a tournament, then, cough up the money. I know it sounds a little bit rude or whatever, but I don't mean it to.
Pokemon is the only game that has free tournaments, right? Like every other card
The
game.
only game that I know of.
Every
Only
other
game that I know
game, if you want to play in a tournament, you have to pay to enter. That's just how the world works. And
Yeah.
it's strange that Pokemon has been free for that long.
Yeah, I agree. So I do want to hear what the rest of these guys want to say. So I don't want to take up more airtime, but I do want to leave that closing thought is like, I mean, I don't want to sound rude, but this is good for the game and this is good for the Masters division. So hopefully people understand.
Yeah, it feels like with the streaming at Worlds, all these updates, the entry fees. It feels like I don't want to say finally, but finally, Pokemon
I
is
don't want to
making
say
a push.
it,
Pokemon is making a push to be like an actual competitive card game, not just the friendly little kids game that it's kind of had the image for being all these years. I mean, it still kind of is that at heart, but we're making a push to being like a legitimate card game. Like actual like Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and all the other ones. It feels like we're getting bigger prizes, and I like this. This just feels like we're becoming a more legitimate game. Drew, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is a great thing. I think people have been spoiled for so long with the free tournaments that they're kind of against change, but I'm glad Pokemon is pushing us in the right direction. I'll be interested to see like how much the entry fee actually is. Obviously, there's an amount that's too high, but I think a lot of people that are complaining about this, they're dishing out money to go to these tournaments already. You have gas, you have hotel for bigger events like regionals and stuff like that. So to add the entry fee on top of that, it really isn't that much more to ask for. And a lot of these people are already paying a ton for like cards, like tricked out decks. You got your reverse hollow Juniper, stuff like that. Your full art Keldeos. Just one less of those and put it towards the tournament, guys. This is a great move by Pokemon.
Yeah. Let's keep in mind the first year that Nintendo took over in 2004, there actually were entry fees for tournaments, and things went fine. And then all of a sudden, they just decided to make all the tournaments for free, starting in 2005, I think.
which was really nice of them. So I mean,
Yeah.
props to them.
It was awesome for a long time, but over the years, I mean, the prizes, let's be real, they steadily declined each year to the point where, I mean, like, if you compare 2005 and 2006 prizes to today, it's not even close. So,
Yeah.
man, we were spoiled back then, man. There were so many trips given out those years. Those gym challenges, there must have been at least like 50 trips given out in the U.S.
I remember like the first year, like trips were starting to get cut back, and you would just see new balloons every year at nationals, and you were like, "How many trips was that?" But overall, people just get used to it. It's just like they're just shell shocked. Like, oh man, I have to pay more money, but it's like after you give them a couple weeks, whatever.
Yep. So I guess along with the entry fees, that's going to be a big prize structure change. A lot more travel awards. That's what we have in store. The first thing is there's going to be 4 extra trips given out at U.S. Nationals. So the top 8 will pay out travel awards, not just invites for top 8 now. Now they all get trips. And also travel stipends for the top 100 in championship points after spring regionals. So it breaks down. I guess this is just for the U.S. From what I can see, because it's travel stipends to U.S. nationals. It looks like 1st through 16 get a travel award, a fully paid trip to U.S. nationals, plus $300. 17 through 30 gets $750 travel stipend. 31 through 60 gets a $500 travel stipend, and 61 through 100 gets a $300 travel stipend. And championship points from Worlds don't count for this, which is nice. That'd be a little unfair if, Jason Kozinski automatically got one of these for having 500 points. But what do you guys think about this? Huge prize increase. Top 100 championship points get a payout. We'll start with Pram, sure.
Yeah, sure. Great news. It was always like you would do so well, and then you're just like, okay, I made it to. I did well enough to make it to Worlds. Now I got to foot everything. So this is a cool little step up. It kind of rewards consistency over a year rather than, you just do well at one event and then you're set.
Like one of us here.
Yeah. So, hey, listen, man, that was like 3 events, and I wasn't set, so you be quiet about that. But yeah, it rewards consistency over a year, and I just I don't know the regional prizes. I hope regionals winners still get trips too. But yeah, as long as regional winners get trips and states people get money, and this is just an add-on, this is great news. So I like it a lot, and it rewards consistency.
Okay, Krim, what are your thoughts?
Krim hates
All
it.
right. How many travel stipends are they giving out?
100.
No. Actual free travel to nationals or
16.
16.
The nationals.
To nationals, right?
Yeah.
How many regionals are there?
That's another topic. Looks
15.
We don't have like actual concrete information about regionals, but it looks like they're being split up because if you look at the website, it says Autumn Regional Championships the weekends of October 12th, 19th, and 26th. So there are 3 separate weekends, and that happens for each regional championship. There's 3 different ones, so potential to go to 9 different regionals.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I mean, we'll have to
Sure
see
wish
if
I was
there's any
rich right about now.
restrictions,
Say
but
that much.
sorry, continue.
What?
What?
No, I said sure wish I was rich right about now.
Oh.
That's what you would do with your money.
Oh, sure, why not?
At that point, right, you can just foot the bill and go to Worlds. Who cares, right?
Yeah, but
He
I mean, the
doesn't pay
point
to
is
go
you get to go
Worlds.
to 9 different regionals. That's a lot of tournaments. I like them. I mean, the 100 travel stipends from I think 61 to 100 get $300, right? I'm pretty sure that's right. 61 to 100 get
Yes.
get $100, $300, and so forth. Like that's a lot of money that they're going to be giving out. So I expect to see a lot of happy people come nationals time. A lot of people making that giant line to get their travel stipends and
Yeah.
a lot of happy faces. So that's a great move by them. Couldn't be happier. And the camera is live for Drew, so we get to see the cat.
Back. Adrian's up.
What are
ready
Adrian's
first
thoughts
time.
on the travel stipends?
I don't see how you could dislike it.
Not your thoughts,
Pokemon
Adrian's.
Is
Yeah.
reward. Adrian, you got something to say? Get up to the camera. She likes it. Look at this. Oh yeah.
All right, Adrian gives approval. How about you, Drew?
I love it. I don't see how you could disagree with Pokemon rewarding players that are doing well. So, kudos to them.
Okay, Ben.
I may have a different take on this, but of course, I think it's great. It seems completely unnecessary, and I feel like spoiled by it. It seems like whoa, crazy. It's like just an insane amount that they're giving out, and obviously I like it a lot.
Yeah,
And
it
I'm
does
grateful.
seem like, yeah, it's a huge amount of money, and
Yeah.
I guess you might wonder where that money's going to come from. I would assume from entry fees, and then that's our next topic: player rewards, which are gone. Player rewards are discontinued in 2014. They're saying the money has been reallocated elsewhere. Your assumption would be that it goes towards those travel stipends. But what do you guys think about no longer getting player rewards?
I want to say something before we move on to the player rewards. They're going to be replacing like regionals winner, regionals champion is going to be getting a DS, correct?
That's for video game.
I'm pretty sure it's for TCG too. Like that's since they're not going to be earning travel stipends now. So I'm pretty sure. I mean, fine, whatever, asterisk. But, we'll asterisk another thing.
Everything that's like unsure, asterisk.
Yeah, but all right, fine. TCG players are going to be earning whatever prizes they get for winning the tournament. I think that this rewards people that play a lot more because now, winning a regionals does not automatically give you a travel stipend to nationals. So that's one thing that we do need to make clear. You can't be like the Tom Dolezal of the world where he just goes, all right, here we go, one time, and he wins the regionals or whatever. He obviously didn't, but let's just say he did. And then that's it. You know, that's the end of it, and he's already guaranteed a trip to nationals. No, now you not only have to now you have to perform very well, and winning your regionals doesn't necessarily mean quite as much as it used to. I guess that's what I'm getting at. So that's important to actually know.
Just so we're clarifying, video game championship winners get a 3DS in addition to their prizes.
Okay.
Not TCG players.
It's pretty
My
sick,
mistake.
though.
But yeah, I mean, the point of it is that you're not going to be getting the travel stipend that you're used to getting by winning regionals. So that does
We
mean a
know
lot.
that for sure.
Yeah, do we know that?
No, we don't. Like,
I
we
think
don't,
so.
No, I already mentioned this. I was like, we have no idea what regionals prizes are. So I
Yeah,
said,
they haven't said that yet.
if this is just a complete add-on, then this is like great.
And what would it do? Pass on? I mean, okay, fine. Just another asterisk.
It might just like okay, say you win a regionals and say you end up in the top 16, right? I'd imagine the the extra trip just poofs.
That would suck.
I mean, sure, but the guy gets $500.
He won
Or
regionals.
$300. He won a regionals,
Yeah.
and he gets an extra what is it, like $300 with the
Yeah.
he gets an extra
And
$300.
Who knows how many prizes he gets for winning that regional?
Actually, you know what's funny? If he wanted the game, the system, he would be like, guys, I need to not win today.
Obviously, we'll figure out how that all plays out. We don't know the prizes
Yeah.
for regionals
Yeah.
yet.
17th in championship
It
points.
would be interesting if maybe
You guys are
like,
right, though. You guys are right. I guess I just made that bad assumption when I saw the travel stipends there, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So they just moved him from winning regionals to that, which I mean would have still been fine because they add on X amount of travel stipends anyways. But if it's added on, then that's just incredible. I can only hope. But if it's not, then I mean it's just all it means is that you not only have to win your regionals, but you have to still perform well to be in the top 16. So that we'll wait and see. I do wish they gave us more information though, so that we didn't have so many asterisks.
I mean, it's just the first day, so.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's something.
there's
It's
just
just
gonna be
something
a
to
lot of
like
questions
wet your
that are
tongue
left
with, and
unanswered.
so like people can talk about, and then yeah. But what was my point? It'd be interesting if I was gonna say regionals does get the invite or the trip, right? And then
Sorry?
like say regionals does get the trip, then he just switches his ranking prizes if he gets top 16 also with the next like 17th.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
So that way he would get like more money, right? But like 17th would be like, sweet, I get a free trip. I mean, I think,
We'll see when they announce.
I think
everything.
if like that's the case, that's like the best way, or the way people will be most happy about it, if that's how it does work out.
I think it's fine as is. Like,
Yeah.
Pram's just greedy.
Hey man, I always go for like the
When
most-
I win my regionals, I want to get 17th going into nationals. But I also want to have enough championship points for worlds.
What do I do?
I'm sure they have taken this into account, and
Yeah, I'm sure
Tell
they have
us.
more information than I do. I'm just kind of like guessing. So
yeah. And as far as I know, this is only for Masters, the top 100 thing, because of all the entry fees and such. I don't think juniors and seniors will get these awards. I can't tell that for sure, but that's what it seems like. Anything else we want to say about the stipends, the prize structure, anything like that?
I'm good.
Hmm,
Said my piece.
I think we're good.
All right. So the
All around
last
thumbs
thing,
up.
the last thing is might be a moot point for us here, but could be a big thing in general for the game. The professor program is getting some changes here. Now professors will be ranked on their tenure, their activity, and exams. So professors will actually be ranked. Experienced professors will, be given priority at the larger events. So, I don't know. Someone like Pokepop, who's been a judge for, I don't know, since the beginning of time, who has tons of experience. He'll be probably like the highest rank professor or something like that. He'll get priority to judge at Worlds and Nationals. So it looks like they're putting a system in place to make sure the experienced people are the ones judging at these big events. What do you guys think about this? So we'll start with Drew.
I have to believe they had some sort of ranking internally. Now this is just something to show the public or maybe amongst the professors how they're ranked. It's a good thing that they want the best professors at events because there's been some stuff that's been on camera, where players make mistakes and the judges don't catch it. So I like that they're working towards a system where they can, keep the judges accountable, something like that, and have the best judges in place at every event. I like the change. Like I said, I'm sure they had some internal ranking already, so probably not too big of a change for Pokemon overall.
Right, Krim?
I mean, a part of me doesn't like this because if I ever wanted to become a judge, I wouldn't be able to, really showcase my skills or, lack thereof, I guess, at the big stages. I feel like there's a lot of current players that have the qualities that it takes to be, incredible judges if they ever do choose to move on. So to have to start from the bottom, I guess it makes sense. But if you're skilled enough to be one of the best judges in the world or whatever, then, I would like for there to be like some sort of leeway in the rule that still allows these top tier judges to show up. Like, again, I don't plan to be a judge anytime soon, but if I ever did become a judge and I happen to be good at it, which who knows if I am or not, but if I did happen to be good at it, I would love to be considered for to judge at the World Championships or whatever. So that's the only thing I really don't like.
It's based on 3 different things. It says tenure, activity throughout the year, and exams you can choose to take. So it's not purely based on experience, but obviously you're not
totally based on tenure.
Yeah, obviously you're not just going to be like, hey, I've never judged a tournament before. Can I judge nationals? That shouldn't happen at all. So it's good that there's some system in place.
But there's always been a system in place. I think that they just recently added the tenure thing, and that's the thing that it doesn't bug me enough for me to make a scene about it, even though I kind of am right now. But I guess that's the thing with these things with these types of shows that we have right now is whenever you can't be wishy-washy. You either have to be on one side or the other. At least that's the way I see it. So if I'm on the pro side, then if I'm on the positive side, then I'm going to say, hey, this is great. If I'm on the negative side, even if it's by a little bit, then I'm going to explain why. And I am on the negative side by a little bit, and that's why. Now, for example, I just saw Exo mentioned on there that there is going to be a way for these judges to to move up the ranks faster. That's great. That's incredible news. That completely takes away everything I've said. So that's great. But
shut up, Graham! Shut up!
So that's great. I've literally just been talking for 5 minutes about nothing. Great.
Well, you guys aren't getting the point. I'm just saying, if I hadn't mentioned this, then I wouldn't have known this.
I'm sorry. That was just funny.
It's not funny. All right. I'm just saying, great move overall and everything. I don't have a major problem with this, but I would like to know, I just found out that if I did decide to be a judge, that I would be able to move up the ranks fast enough if I was good. Which I feel like I would be. I'd be a great judge.
Every complaint you've had tonight, we've just looked down and seen Exabyte in the chat. It's just been well, actually,
that's exactly what I want to see.
That's good. That's good.
No, I know. It's just you've been putting your foot in your mouth the whole night. That's all.
He would be a horrible judge, man. He'd be sitting at the table. They'd be playing. He'd be like, wait, hold on, guys. You're playing too fast for me. Slow down.
The players will be like, can we at least get a time extension? He'd be like, well, I don't know. I don't know if that's in my approved powers yet. Maybe. Maybe.
That's funny. Seriously, you guys are really funny. But it's not putting my foot in my mouth. It's expressing serious concerns, and then some of these things were not. Some of these things were great. Some of these things were very there was a lot of gray area. So I'm glad that that people are sitting here explaining to us why why they are or why they aren't being changed. So great news. And I'm happy for the professor program.
Right.
Yeah.
Graham?
I almost feel because obviously they had their own internal system. I almost feel like this is just their own internal system, just a little bit more transparent and a little bit more and with some improvements, probably. So, it's great. Players can see how judges kind of rank up against each other, because it's always been well, I think this judge is better, but I don't know, kind of thing. Sometimes when you talk about judges, but it's good to see at least some transparency with it, and I think that's really what this is just transparency with the program.
Yeah, another thing I saw mentioned is that there's also an effort to make a separation between tournament organizer and judge, because a lot of the time the line has kind of been blurred. TOs can judge a lot of the time, so I guess this is also a way to separate that out. It might be a good thing. But Ben, what are your thoughts on the whole thing?
I think it's really good, and I like it. And obviously, I think they all knew who the good judges were, and they had quite a familiar few faces at Worlds and Nationals each year. To me, this looks like a thing for new judges, or growth in the judge pool. And if there's growth in the judge pool, if at least they're planning on it, then they're probably planning on growth in the entire game, players and judges overall. And this seems like a necessary step into growth for the whole thing, and for the whole game. And that's kind of what I think it is. They got to make this step at some point if they plan on growing big enough. And starting now is good as ever.
Yeah, I think it is. I think all this stuff is huge steps forward for the game. I know a lot of people have been critical with how Pokemon has handled all these procedures in the past few years, but I think this was a huge step forward. All thumbs up from me. And we might have a few nitpicks here and there, but overall, this was awesome. This was a great update, and we got it pretty soon after Worlds, so it was kind of a timely update too. Yeah, that's really all I got to say. But anything else you guys want to say before we head into viewer questions?
Thank you, TPCI, for giving us all these awesome details and these awesome changes. What the heck is wrong with you guys, man? You guys are all out of control this week.
I didn't know you
let me finish this one. Seriously, these changes were great. These are changes that we've been secretly, or maybe even not so secretly, asking for a long time. So I'm happy they finally made them, and I'm ecstatic to see more details. The faster they bring out these details, the happier I'll be. Now, continue.
All right. Are we moving on to viewer questions then?
Yeah, let's do it. Or wait, do we want to take a break or just move on?
Go through.
Yeah.
Oh, another topic. Sorry, real quick. Kaczynski Open is actually next weekend. And I'll be there, Kyle will be there, Pram will be there. And it's, one of the first major big tournaments, not, sanctioned or whatever. And it's really cool. And I'm looking a lot forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. If anybody is near the Chicago area, I would definitely recommend coming. This is going to be a huge, huge tournament. This is really the first big independent tournament we have in Pokemon. And a lot of great players are going to be there. The prize support is pretty nice. And the winner also gets an invitation to the next Top Cut Invitational. So there's kind of a priceless prize on the line.
Is it a conflict of interest if I win? Do I get to play the Top Cut Invitational?
You might get to play. We'll have to discuss.
I was going to say you'll get to play, but there's no promise that you will be a member after it. I'm just saying you'll be able to play at least.
Wait, do I still get the prizes?
We'll talk. We'll discuss this internally, okay?
If it becomes a reality, we'll discuss it.
It will be a reality
for someone.
And Drew will be there as well.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
4 of us will be there. Krim, unfortunately, lives on the other side of the country, so he won't be there. But a lot of people are actually coming. We've got people coming from all over the place, even Florida. People coming from Florida.
Apparently not California though. Bummer.
Yeah. So if you guys can't make it, we will be streaming the whole event live every round. And for those in attendance, we'll actually be projecting the top 8 live to a big screen for the audience. So it should be an awesome event. Definitely to come check it out if you're in the area. And if you're not, please watch the stream. We really want this event to be a success. Because if it is, it opens up a lot of doors for, maybe another tournament circuit for Pokemon, much like Magic has, which would be an awesome thing to have. So, yes, Klaczynski Open. Hopefully see you guys there. If not, see you on the stream. Should be fun. All right, viewer questions. All right, first question from Andrew Huss. What is everyone's favorite deck of all time and why? And we'll start with Krim.
Favorite?
All time.
All right, Empoleon holds a dear spot in my heart because it gave me the most incredible win record against Kyle of all time. I don't think anybody's ever beaten Kyle more times in the history of the game than I did with Empoleon.
I lost to Joner a lot.
That's true. Joner's win percentage against you with that Dark Tyranitar deck was pretty high. Let's see. I really like that deck, but it's not the top deck. Honestly, if I'm going to be honest with myself, it's got to be Moltres. Moltres Stall is my favorite deck of all time, just because it was so fun to play. And I mean, I played it at a local level, and that's kind of like probably why I won so much. But that's all right. Like that's when I was first like really getting into the competitive scene of the game, and it was just an incredibly fun deck to play. So that's my nearest and dearest deck.
All right, Ben, favorite deck ever?
Probably Zekrom Potter Strike. That was a lot of fun to play.
That was really fun, actually. Are you talking about
Slam.
version
2.0.
Yeah!
Slam down the Mewtwo to start with. Your opponent flips over a Mewtwo, you go first. Pachirisu, 2 lightnings. DCE, move him, plus power, good game! That was the best deck.
That deck was glorious. I literally just went to the open play room and just killed everyone with it. It was great.
Turn 1, 2,000 damage.
Hey. All right, Drew, what was your favorite deck of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah.
There's so many decks. I had this Sceptile EX Slowbro deck that I won states with. I'm pretty fond of.
That was a fun deck.
There wasn't 1-hit KOs, and Sceptile could move damage with Slowbros and heal it off. So you created like this hard lock where you can never get knocked out. And I also had a Tickling Machine deck when I first started playing that I really liked, and I have fond memories of at League. So there's 2 for you.
All right, Pram, your favorite deck?
I think my favorite deck is probably Mulock. In terms of,
I'm so surprised you didn't say Curdy.
that's number 2. In terms of
Number 2, huh?
yeah. In terms of like actual play,
Number 33 for me.
in terms of actual play, Mulock was my favorite. It was the deck I had to think about what play I'm doing the most, like that I've ever played. So, and it was I think probably one of the hardest decks to play in the Pokemon TCG ever. So.
Yeah. I have a ton of favorite decks over the years, but
Hit bump.
Quadino's a good one, yeah. But if I have to pick like my favorite deck of all time, it's probably got to be the deck that I just played the most, which was Dialga Garchomp. That deck just offered so many options. It was really difficult to play, and it had pretty much everything you could ask for in a deck. You could be aggressive with the Garchomp. You could control the game with Dialga. You can kind of like tank the Dialga with a lot of metal energy, and it just turned a lot of games into very strategical games. And it really slowed the game down into a format where everything was really like bang bang. Like starting from turn 1, you were just like getting knockouts back and forth. So I love that deck a lot. If I had to pick one, I guess it would be that one. But I'm also very fond of Luxray Infernape, the deck I won nationals with. I did love that deck a lot too. But Meganium too.
What about Kabutops EX, man? It was your comeback back.
Kabutops EX will always hold a place in my heart.
Can't believe you won with that.
I found the list online actually somewhere, and it was the worst list I've ever seen in my life. I ran 20 energy,
Jeez.
potion. What else? Back when potion only healed 2, I've still played it. Multiples actually, 2 potion. So
2 potion? Alright,
Sure did.
just stop listing cards. Stop listing cards.
I'm gonna
Please.
send you the list at some point. It was awesome.
You can just write an article about it.
Yeah, I should. I should go through the years. Oh, man, that was terrible. All right. Matt Shank asks, now that TPCI is moving forward with really making the Masters level a professional environment and taking over handling their own coverage for tournaments, have you guys given any thought to starting to run your own events? Anyone want to take this one?
Yeah, I will. We've been thinking about it forever. If that makes any difference, we've been thinking about it for as long as the Top Cut's been around. Let's put it that way. It's really hard to pull the trigger just because it's obviously extremely expensive. But I wouldn't be surprised if someday we just decide to do it, especially if the Klaczynski Open goes well. Like, I think that if the Klaczynski Open goes well, it'll remain at in our heads, and it'll remain at the forefront of our minds. We, as a group, we constantly talk about this, and we want to make it a reality. I guarantee you that much. It's just a matter of actually being able to go through with it. It's a very expensive investment. So I hope so. I really truly hope so someday, just because it'd be fun. It would be so fun to actually run one of these things.
Guarantee the viewers we will have one day. This is 100%. I guarantee. It's a guarantee.
And granted, yeah, somebody just said the Top Cut Invitational.
All myself.
We're talking about an open event.
Yeah, I'll do it all myself if I end up having to do it all myself. But I guarantee we will do one day. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year.
Maybe not in 5 years.
I know we're gonna have at least one, but we're
Like-
planning on
Like Ben collects?
right now.
At least one.
But that happened already.
Wait. Let's put you on the spot real quick. When is Ben Collects gonna happen?
As soon as I figure out how to use the video editor.
Oh, I could have sworn he was gonna say as soon as I get 20 packs. I could have sworn he was about to say that.
As soon as I get 6 boxes, guys. Ben collects episode 1.
I have raw video footage. I just need to edit it. I don't know how to use the program, so it's been a very slow learning process so far. But
I'll help you out.
I'm getting there.
All right.
So excited to see that. Anybody else want to talk about that? The tournaments, like maybe one of you guys, because I really do want to hear what you guys want to say.
Yeah, I would love to do them online. I think that would be the best way to start this. Unfortunately, there's no real client that allows us to do it yet. If Pokemon TCG Online ever, I don't want to say gets its act together, but kind of like stabilizes, gets rid of the bugs, all that stuff.
Create spectator mode.
Spectator mode is the big one, actually. That'll allow us to, commentate, stream the matches live. That'd be awesome. Hopefully someday we get that. I heard that the feature was being considered. I hope it comes soon. But yeah, Pokemon TCG Online has to be the future for these online tournaments. If that ever gets up and running, I don't know what we can do. Play TCG works, but it's a program that's dependent on trust between players. It's like a free-flowing program. There's no rules. It can lag a lot of the time. So I think something like Pokemon TCG Online has to be there for us if we want to do online tournaments at some point. And that's what I would love to do the most. That would be awesome to get like an online tournament series going.
I would love to do the real life version, but obviously the online one is just as important in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully it happens. Seriously, whoever asked that question.
All right.
Well,
All right. So I have an interesting question from Dax Edmiston. Now that we're having to pay to play in tournaments, do you think that cheating will be more of a concern since people are being forced to pay? Anybody want to take this?
yeah, I will. Personally, for me, it's not more of a concern because it's already an extreme concern. Like we've had like cases popping up here and there, and it's been more frequent recently of just like rumors and a bunch of just gross stuff. And for me, it's equally bad. I don't care if I'm paying money or not. I don't want to see that at all, and it disgusts me.
I think that no matter what, I don't like saying cheating's rampant, but if we're going to be honest with ourselves, then it truly is right now. And hopefully they stop it immediately, they nip it in the bud immediately. But I think that there's a lot of people that are seeing these people, some of these guys get away with it or something like that, and then a lot of the younger people, the more inexperienced people, they're going to see this money and they're going to be tempted. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's just the way the world works. Whether cheating was rampant or not, whenever you start putting money on the line, you're going to see more cases of cheating. That's just the way the world works. So we have to be careful. We have to shuffle our opponent's decks. We have to treat this a lot less casually than we're used to treating these events. So in the Masters division, that's all I can recommend, and hopefully we weed these negative vibes out of our tournament system, because we've been clean for a long time, and it's unfortunate that this year has a really giant blemish, or as I like to say, an asterisk. So hopefully we can change that.
You're an asterisk.
I am. One giant asterisk.
What?
Anyone else want to take this?
No, just echoing what those two said. That's pretty much it.
Drew?
Nah, I'm good. I agree.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Next question comes from Kirk Hitchin. It says, "Hey, Top Cut, I'd like to go this is an actual Pokemon question. We haven't actually talked about the cards at all this show, but here we go. Hey, Top Cut, I'd like to know you guys' thoughts on Virizion Genesect and whether it's any good. Thank you for the question, Kirk. Anyone want to take this? Virizion Genesect.
I'm not sure if it's good, but I've been trying out a lot of Victini EX Victory Piece decks.
I've been... Jeez, oh my god. That just... Oh my...
Cram just like...
You just run four Victini EX.
Deck on Cram's breakdown.
Oh, man.
Only base Pokemon, 4 Victini EX, 4 Skyla, 4 Random Receiver.
I'll tell you what.
No, man, you gotta run 4 Sableye to Junk Hunt for the victory piece.
I've even...
But then you don't get the guarantee turn 1.
I saw like a turn 1...
It's close. It's close.
I saw like a turn 1 Virizion go in again with turn 2 Genesect against... I was playing Blastoise. And then there was a lot of cases where I just still won the game. And I was just like, oh, this deck is not good. I mean, it's like okay, but it's not like... It's very vanilla. And it doesn't have any tricks to it, so...
Yeah, for my testing with it, I don't actually like the deck at all. It doesn't feel good enough to win. It's like, Genesect is kind of like Darkrai with that attack, does 100 and then 22 bench Pokemon, but I actually like Night Spear better, doing 90 and 30. The difference between Genesect and Darkrai is that Darkrai has Dark Patch, so it's easier to power up for Night Spear, whereas Genesect takes 2 Grass Energy. And the only Grass Energy acceleration is an attack, which is Virizion EX. So, sure, you can play your deck to try to get like that turn 1 Plasma Badge, Colress Machine onto Virizion EX. Then you can Emerald Slash and get 2 Grass onto the Genesect. That is an extremely powerful start. But that shouldn't happen very often. And if that doesn't happen very often, think about how slow your deck is. Like, what are you going to do? Turn 2 Emerald Slash? And then you just got a Genesect sitting there with 2 Grass. And then the problem becomes, like, once you get a Genesect loaded up, it takes 3 energy, it's very expensive, and oftentimes it just goes down and then you just don't have energy left in play. So it's tough to keep a stream of them going. It feels like Genesect has potential, but at the same time, it just feels kind of too slow, and I haven't found a way to make it work yet. But maybe somebody will find a good list for it. It seems like a card that has a lot of potential. I just haven't seen it yet. All right.
I have not had many experiences with it, but I didn't like it. I played it like 4 times actually, and I mean it won a reasonable amount of time, but it just didn't feel good compared to the other decks that just run so much smoother. No way. But I mean maybe that's just the build and it's got to evolve. So we'll wait and see.
Another thing I don't like is actually how easy it is to counter. Like Ben said, Victini EX in a victory piece is just like, whoa, that just knocks out the entire deck. Okay.
I know, like,
I'm on a clock.
I kind of like giggled at it, and then it was like, oh, that's true.
Yeah, I don't like that it's so easy to counter.
You get that turn 1, the game just ends.
I'm sure there are some techs that you could run to deal with that, but it's yikes. Also, things like Flareon, if they remain popular, that destroys Genesect.
Mm-hmm.
Fire in general is bad for Genesect. So
And Fire's pretty decent right now, so
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Mikel Battaglia. With all these changes, does Crims finally plan to dust off his theoretical mind and start hitting the championship point grind?
I wouldn't say I'm going to hit the championship point grind because, I mean, honestly, my heart's set on commentating and stuff like that now. But I do promise to not only myself but to everybody else to play a lot more this season, man. I'm actually starting a weekly series on our website, which you guys should expect to see really soon, within the next few days, actually, where I'm gonna get started up again. You guys are gonna see me go through the trials and tribulations of not knowing what this format's truly about when it comes to playing. You can commentate it all you want, but when it comes to playing, I mean, you're gonna be making a lot of misplays and stuff like that, and that's gonna be me. I'm gonna be putting some YouTube videos up. I'm gonna be hopefully making an article about it, but we'll have to wait and see on that. These fingers, they ain't what they used to be. But yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm planning on visiting, what it's like to try to get competitive again from a perspective of a guy who hasn't played truly competitive Pokemon in a year or more. I mean, honestly, I haven't played really competitive Pokemon in a very long time. So I'm excited to be competitive again. I don't expect to do the championship point grind. Going to Worlds is not my goal. But it is my goal to do extremely well at these events and to be the guy that, that's one of the top 5 threats to win his regional. That's what I want to do. If I can do that, from being on hiatus for so long, that's great. So that's what I'm aiming for, and stay tuned for that. It should be fun. It should be cool. Just don't make fun of me too much if I misplay like crazy, all right? Please. I'm a sensitive guy, all right? But yeah, looking forward to do it, and we'll have to wait and see.
Okay. Now we kind of discussed.
Laughed at so much.
Yeah, I'll be the first one.
Yeah.
Next question we kind of covered, but I guess we'll just go a little more in depth on it. From Chris Collins, he says, "Hi, I was just wondering, what do you think about the top 8 rule? Top 16 seems more legit. So I guess all tournaments are now constricted to a top 8 cut instead of the bigger cuts. Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing overall? I mean, of course, we're going to get more Swiss rounds and such, but do you think limiting to top 8 is a good idea?" And we'll start with Pram.
I think it's fine. If you get enough extra Swiss rounds, and I think 8's a good number for it. So yeah, I don't think top 16. Think about it this way: would you rather have like an extra Swiss round or a top 16? And I'll just take the extra Swiss round. So.
All right. Anyone else?
No, that's exactly it. A lot of people are saying why not have both, but you can't. And if you have, I would gladly have more Swiss rounds and a smaller cut than less Swiss rounds and a bigger cut. For example, when you play in the top 32, you realize that, like, say it's a 7-round Swiss tournament cut to top 32. You have a 7-0 player who went completely undefeated throughout his Swiss rounds and then happened to lose his very first match in the top 32. That's it. The guy's done. That this new system really rewards going XO in your in Swiss, because now you no longer have to go through top 32 or top 16. It's almost like you got a bye in 2 rounds in a row just because you happen to go these with these incredible records. So you have to think of it in that perspective. You have to assume that you would be. I would like to assume that I would be the XO player, and I now no longer have to play my top 32 and my top 16 match. Now I only have to win 3 matches after having such a grueling couple of days of play. That's really important, and that's something that a lot of people overlook. So having to play less rounds of Top Cut is really good, and it's good for reducing luck.
Okay. Next question from Michael Martindale. What Pokemon do you think would work well in a Vileplume deck?
All the Pans with Silver Bangle. Panseer, Pansage,
Poor.
I was going to be like Pan Drip. That's not right.
I have this deck built. I do. I run Vileplume, and then an attacker of every type that does 20 damage. And then you put a Silver Bangle, and then against an EX, you hit for 200 because of the times 4 weakness.
Zorua does 20 for scratch for 20.
Yep.
I'm sure there's others.
I'll tell you what Pokemon I have. I have Combee. It's my grass. You could also use Oddish since you're already running that. It does 20 for 2 colorless. But Combee does 30 for 1 and shovels itself back in the deck.
That's actually really good.
I know.
You get your Silver Bangle back. That's big.
Yep. Chimchar does 20 damage. That's about it. Lapras does 40 for 2 colorless and then 22 itself. What else we got? Rayquaza is the dragon. That's an easy one. Does 40 for 1. The toughest one is actually metal. There's nothing metal that gets the job done. So you actually have to do there is... and also the problem is that in metal, you want to cover Kyurem, so you can't use Silver Bangle. So in that case, you actually have to do Cabalion EX and just hit for 120 with Righteous Edge, and then maybe play Hypnotoxic Laser too. Kyurem is actually what kills the Vileplume thing, besides the deck not being good in general. But otherwise, what else do we have? I have Muna, Psychic type does 20 for 2. What types am I missing? I got Zorua for the Dark type, same thing. Types Lightning, Emolga, the Call for Family one, which works really nice.
Oh, that's sweet.
Fighting?
Huh?
Fighting type?
Fighting? There's all sorts of stuff. You can do Stunfisk, you can do Mankey, you can do Mienshao, or is it Mienfu? Mienfu is the basic, right? Yeah, none of you guys know. Mienfu.
What is that?
He's the karate. He's like the little.
Oh, is that what
guy.
I had for dinner last night? I ordered takeout. Mienfu.
Hey. All right. So yeah, that deck just doesn't really work. You don't really have the space for it. So what happens is you can try to target down the popular types, and then if someone just plays a type that or has a weakness that you're not playing, you just lose because you max out at 20 damage. So it's a fun deck, but it doesn't really work very well. Alright. Next, from Pyro Wolf. What important cards are getting rotated out in the upcoming rotation? I guess we should cover that. It is next Destiny's on. So, what cards do we lose, guys?
Energy Switch.
Yep.
Who knows?
We lost.
Electric.
Please, Drew's honest.
Yeah.
Electric.
Maybe?
Recycle.
Cling Clang.
Gothitelle,
5.
Electric, Selgor.
Oh, Excelgor's still around.
Pokemon Communication.
Yep. We lost communication.
Yep.
Plus
Power.
It's another one.
He said important cards, guys.
Gothitelle.
Did
We
we
still
lose
Defender?
potion?
No.
Potion? No,
No,
we got to
It's in Boundaries Crossed.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
about Defender?
Defender
What?
wasn't
That
illegal.
was
Wasn't
not even legal.
format.
That's been gone for a while.
Why don't we have Defender, man?
Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
Exobite?
Did we get a Great Ball reprint?
We lost Revenge Bouffalante.
Yeah, I don't know about Great Ball.
That was it's disappointing.
We don't have to name every single card that got rotated.
Yeah, we
do.
Hammer.
Cincino.
Pokeball? Pokeball?
No, that's around.
Pokedex.
That's out.
We lost Cincino. Do the wave.
Another. I'm trying to remember what that card is.
All right, cards we keep. This is confusing for a lot of people. Cards that we do keep.
Transceiver. That's an important.
All right, the cards we keep since they've been reprinted are cards like Embor, Terrakion,
Chandelure.
Virizion. Drew, you got one more year of Virizion. 2 more years, probably.
My boy. That's my boy.
That got reprinted in Plasma Blast. What else?
Chandelure.
One more.
Chandelure is around. Zoroark is around.
Super Rod.
There's a lot of stuff that didn't leave. Super Rod, yeah, that's in Dragon Vault. So that is still around.
It's in what?
Dragon Volt.
The mini set. Max Potion is still around. There's a secret rare. I don't know. That's
There's a
probably
lot
everything.
that are still around.
There's a lot of stuff that might be coming back.
Oh, we lost Durant. Durant. Jason's gonna be pissed.
Okay. You know, speaking of Durant, at Worlds, Drew, your pick, Shintaro. He ran Sableye, Durant, Garbodor, and that was a crazy deck. He is actually probably the only person in the field to run the Worlds promo, Champions Festival, in his deck. So you
That's my
picked
boy
a
right
mad,
there.
you picked
He's
a mad
creative.
genius, but he ran into Jason and Sammy.
That poor boy.
Night Spear, Tool Scrapper, Night Spear, what?
All right. Next question. Again, we've covered this, but we'll go more in depth on it. What do you guys think about ties being reintroduced to Pokemon? And enjoyed meeting you guys at Worlds from Bake Winsma. Thank you for the question. Ties. It's been a controversial issue. A lot of people don't like them. They say it promotes a lot of team play and stuff like that, and it doesn't give players a chance to make it if they start off at a poor record. But overall, what do you guys think about draws or ties?
They're right about that it does promote team play and that you will see a lot of, like, well, then again, I mean, there's a difference between intentionally drawing and, like, scooping. I mean, if I'm going to intentionally draw with somebody else, I take back what I said. They're wrong. For example, if I'm going to intentionally draw with somebody, then I'm reducing both of our chances at making the top cut. For example, if Kyle and I are both undefeated in round 6 out of a 9-round tournament, then you would think, oh, you know, these guys are good buddies, whatever, they're both going to draw and they're going to stay undefeated. But in reality, it cost each of us a win. When one of us could have easily won and the other guy could have lost and still been alive, while the guy that wins is basically, you know, going into the tournament, going into the top cut. So I don't think that it promotes team play. I think it promotes bad play. I think it promotes a lot of mistakes that people can make because they're going to be tempted to, you know, to draw with their friends or whatnot. So that's something that people are going to have to learn. But I think intentionally drawing really reduces variance. It reduces the win and in factor a lot of times. Like, for example, I can be 7-1 going into round 9, and if I can intentionally draw, then great. You know, I'm 7-1, man. I mean, I've played hard. I've gotten to where I want to be, and I don't want to lose to, you know, out on opponent's match win percentage to somebody that started off, you know, rocky but had great matchups or whatever and stuff like that. So I think it promotes less variance, and that's something that I'm happy about. Less luck.
All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, I like rewarding the players that are doing well throughout the day. You know, this person's like 8-0. Why should they have to play? Just let them draw in. You know, sort of like a little reward along the way.
Okay.
Biggest concern I have is that there might end up being like a ton of draws at tournaments, like depending on just based on time, because like, you know, people run out of time, and you know, we don't know all the rules about how they're. I don't think we know all the rules yet about how they're going to handle draws within the end of time. But the biggest concern with that is, like, I missed cut because I had a bunch of draws because I didn't finish my games. But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the whole thing is handled with best 2 out of 3. I think they said they're going to update the tournament rules, but I haven't looked at it yet. Hopefully they make that announcement soon if they haven't already. All right. Next question from Dom Evie. With Frozen City being played at Worlds and Pram including it in his latest Plasma deck list, is it actually worth the spots in your Plasma deck? Against Blastoise, it's obviously amazing, but otherwise, I often find myself just using it as a counter to Verbank. But Verbank will probably see less play because of Virizion EX, shutting off laser and such. So what do you guys think about Frozen City?
I think
Pram, we'll throw it to you.
Yeah, I think it's a cool card. I think it's definitely a metagame card, to be honest. If you think the metagame's going to shift in a way where Frozen City is just better, then, go all out, man. Frozen City all the way. But I do think generally Verbank Laser is better. A better combo. Stronger. But if the metagame makes it so Laser isn't that good, then Frozen City would obviously be better because, So
Okay.
that's
Anyone else?
just
I think it's a pretty bad card. But that's just me.
There were 3 copies of this in a top 8 list at Worlds. So
Yes, I know Johnny Rabus. He did very well. Congrats to him from top 8. I just don't think it works too well, especially in the new format. Sure, you're gonna let's say when I've been making comparisons recently, I think, oh, what is Virizion Genesect? How does it deal with this card? And I used to do that with Darkrai back when that was top dog deck. And well, sure, you get more damage onto the Virizion, but they also attach from the deck onto the main target, so you're not getting any extra damage there.
it's also a
Not to
plasma
mention, yeah, not to mention it's also completely useless in the mirror match, and it's really a hindrance in the mirror match a lot.
Well, it's really more of a question of what stadium would you play? Would you just not play any?
I don't play any.
Okay. I mean, that's a fine decision too. It's just like a metagame call. If you think
I
there's
think
if you think you have to worry about Blastoise or Emboar or whatever, then
I personally think Blastoise is just bad enough that it's not. It's like Blastoise is just a bad deck in my opinion, and it's not worth playing. And Emboar, you're certainly not worried about Emboar too much because they are weak to water, and Kirama's Frost Spear is pretty good versus Tepig's. But that's just me.
Okay. Next question from Nicholas Anthony Pierce. How legitimate do you consider Trubbish as a deck in the competitive scene? If you guys don't know what the Trubbish deck is, it has
I
the
do.
exact Soul Drop.
Yeah.
Krim and Drew look very confused. So
I don't know what that is.
No. I actually know exactly what this deck does.
I
know
will
the
be
Sigilif
honest.
too. I know
what
the
does it
Sigilif
do,
too,
Grim?
baby.
Oh, yeah.
What does
What?
it do? What does it
It
do?
deals 20 damage times the number of tools attached to all Pokemon to play. Boom, baby! What's up?
What's it called?
Am I right? Oh, come on. Who knows that stuff? It's a tool drop or something like that.
Yeah. All right.
That's what just-
Wow,
You got lucky.
great! You read the chat.
Oh,
Number one, Kyle said it like 20 seconds ago. He said the words tool drop. It's not that hard to guess.
Oh, I said GG. Good game. I win.
Dude,
official commentator for Worlds. Who knows the attack names?
Peter.
Oh, baby. We did it. I think the deck's cool. I think the deck's fine. I'm not sure if it's competitive or not because I haven't actually seen it in competitive stage. I don't know. You can easily just run 3 tool scrappers and, mess around and do really well against the deck. But I think playing, 4 Silver Bangle and 4 Silver Mirror is just, that's buff. That's, really good. That's got to be good against Plasma, right?
So it is cool in doing 120, right? At least 120.
Well, you play 4 of the Sigilif with the toolbox,
Oh man!
so you can attach 4 tools to a Sigilif, and then you play 20
He now
tools.
gets it.
So you can rack up damage really quickly. Like you can start to knock things out in one hit.
I need to build this on PTCGO really
It
soon.
doesn't work on PTCGO.
I don't
Otherwise, I would.
Why?
Yeah, the tool drop doesn't count the extra tools on Sigilip, unfortunately.
Oh man.
I tried it out. I was like, here we go, 180 to this Landorus, and then a tool drop, 100 damage. I was like, what? And I just lost the game immediately. But yeah, the deck as a whole, it's really funny.
Fran is so shocked right now.
I can't keep in the smile, so I'm just like, this deck is so cool. Oh my god.
Graham's Breakdown, episode 2.
he's lost it.
But yeah, the deck is actually really cool. The only problem it has is there's no energy acceleration, and Trubbish is a 70 HP Pokemon. You can rely on EXP share to kind of like keep your energy in play. But what happens is they can just like target down your energy all game, and then a lot of things are playing Tool Scrapper. So what happened when I was playing it is like, if they got off to any sort of fast start, they would just target down Trubbish, and then you would never actually get to use Tool Drop ever. But if you ever get to use Tool Drop, it's actually a pretty strong deck, believe it or not.
This deck is way better than my stupid Flareon deck.
Yeah. So yeah, Trubbish, it might show up at like the league challenges, but I don't think it'll ever be extremely competitive.
Hey,
It might end up beating like Blastoise though, a slower deck.
Yeah, it seems like it actually has a good plasma.
it might end up winning the KO.
Probably
Who
even has a
knows?
reasonable plasma matchup too.
It
Like its
could be
plasma matchup
Plasma.
can't be horrible.
Yeah, Silver Mirror is big, but again, people are probably going to be running a lot of Tool Scrapper now.
Oh, they're gonna need more than four tool
the
scrappers.
thing is, like,
to
that this
beat
deck
this
not
deck.
only can run 4 Silver Mirror, it will run 4 Silver Mirror. That's what's cool.
How
So,
much
like,
is the energy
That actually goes a long way.
for the attack?
2 energy.
What's that?
1 second, 1 colorless.
Oh, this deck got infinitely worse.
Cool, you can run Plasma Badge and run Chorus Machine. It works.
That does work. You're a genius.
All right, let's move on.
This is fun.
All right, Brian Crosby. If the Virizion Genesect deck doesn't prove strong enough, can we possibly be seeing Genesect teched into other decks? Interesting question. Genesect on its own is actually fairly strong. You don't necessarily need to put it with Virizion. And also the G-Booster tool can be attached to do 200 damage at any point. So do you guys think Genesect will be fit into any other decks?
I could see Genesect in a Hydreigon deck, where they run the blend energy. That could be pretty cool. Once you get 2 blend on it, 200 a turn with the G booster, Dark Patch.
Then I played a game today. It was a Hydreigon Mirror, and I thought I had the game all locked up. I was like, "There's no way he can knock me out." And then he dropped a Genesect and a G booster, and knocked out my Darkrai in one hit. And I was like, "Oh, that sucks." So yeah, it definitely has the opportunity to fit in other decks, but that 2 grass energy requirement is brutal. Makes it tough to like squeeze into decks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
I think it could be.
Right.
I think it's kind of solid in Hydreigon. The more I think about it, I think it can be good.
Yeah. All right. Next question from Andrew Spurley. Do you think Cradley has potential? Is there any combination of Pokemon you can use to make some sort of a lock? I think everybody looked at Cradley and it's like, oh, I get to search for any stage 2 and put it on my bench. Let's look through the stage 2s. There's got to be something good in here.
That's so funny.
This is exactly what I did.
Literally just like looked at all the binders and going, oh!
I literally went through like every scan through all legal sets, and then I was just like, why would I even just play? Why would I play the Cradilly when I'm just gonna play like I could just build this normally with a bunch of like stage 1s and basics.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to. Like, to run this, you need to run the fossils, you need to run the Lileeps, and you need to run a whole line. Like, And you can't.
You need to run basic Pokemon too.
That's actually the biggest problem, because like you run this whole line, and you don't even have basic Pokemon. You have to actually go out of your way to add more basic Pokemon in the deck, because you have to run the Root Fossil to get the Lilip into play in the first place, and then you just run out of space in your deck. And like Pram said, it gets to a point where you're like, why am I not just running the Stage 2 lines? Like, why don't I just run the lines themselves and cut out the Cradily? So this is a card that people are always going to like look at and be like, every time a new set comes out, you're going to be like, are there any Stage 2s I can use? And then it's probably just going to be like, no.
I'm trading for a playset. That's all I'm going to say. Trading for a playset.
Even like the 3 Stage 2 decks, like Flygon, Duster, Chandelure, I was like, yeah, this is going to make this deck so much faster. And then I thought about it, I was like, but then I have to run energy cards.
Yeah.
Oh, no, never mind.
And you also have to run grass to get your Pokemon out. If that attack Life Explosion only cost colorless, it would be a lot better. But you have to run grass. That makes it infinitely worse. So I do not see this card ever working. That being said, I have it built on PTCGO. And it does not work very well. What do you guys think? Right now, do you think this card will ever be played?
No.
Whoa. What's the definition of played?
In a competitive deck.
City Zerba?
What's
States
competitive?
or above.
A metagame deck.
Players?
A metagame deck.
Oh, no.
Let's just say that Drew might have to play the deck at some point. All right?
No.
Let's just say that.
But I
Just say Fred might have to play the deck at some point.
Don't do it to me, Grim.
remember, karma comes back around.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, you know what? I'm going to have to deal with Potter anyways. It is what it is. So I might as well enjoy,
Play deck and
enjoy
you'd
Punching
be lucky.
What's up?
You'd be so lucky for that would be your punishment.
Oh, no.
That would be me letting you off so easy. 0 points, dude. 0.
Blame Kyle, man. He was the team captain, not me. All I did
You
was
for
hire
picking
these
me.
guys.
You picked 6 people, all swing and a miss.
Started off strong with Yamato winning the first 2 rounds, and then it was all downhill from there.
All right. This question's going to be aimed towards Pram, because we were talking about this. From Gabriel Rodriguez. Do you think Azelf is being overlooked? It can move all the defending Pokemon's, or all the opponent's special energy with its attack side jamming. Would this make a good tech in any deck? So, for you guys who don't know, side jamming for 1 colorless, or for 1 psychic and 2 colorless, allows you to rearrange all of the special energy on your opponent's board. So theoretically, you could take all their special energy and just move it to a worthless Pokemon. All right, Pram, go ahead.
I saw this card and was like instantly like, oh my god. You could just get someone so bad. Like, if they were just beating you into the ground, and then you move all their energy over to like a Deoxys, you just got them really bad. but then I was just like, well, the only deck you can run this in is Hydreigon. And then it's like, but it even costs 3, and your Azelf's gonna just go down immediately to this Deoxys that has like 5 energies on it. So I don't think it's good. But maybe if it costs less energy, it'd be really good.
Yeah, 3's a little expensive. I don't think that card will ever get played. Unless Pram plays it. Alright.
Well, I haven't gotten last at a draft yet, so I got no punishments yet.
Alright, this will be our last question for the night from Scott Robert DeGraw. Is Mewtwo Deoxys Plasma Badge a legit deck? And also, how does everyone feel about the new sock? So does anyone want to take the Mewtwo Deoxys question? I should probably
I have
take
no
it.
idea what the new sock is.
The attack for 1 colorless does 10 plus 40 if it's against a Team Plasma Pokemon.
Okay.
So it would knock out
Retreat?
Absol, That is 90 HP. It would knock out Absol in one hit. And
Does it have a reasonable retreat cost, like 1?
Krim,
Yeah,
all these questions you're asking are not going to matter, trust me. When,
I mean, if it knocks out Absol, it's not bad.
You don't understand. we haven't gotten to the part where you do the math with Silver Bangle yet.
Yeah, alright, so the attack is called Kick of Righteousness. Epic attack name, but against Thunderous EX, yeah, you would do 100 normally, and then like your first thought is, if I attach a Silver Bangle, now I do 10 plus 40 plus 30 times 2, 160 damage. So you're still 10 short of knocking out a Thunderous EX with it, which that'd be awesome. Maybe Sock could see some play.
I think it would see play. Why not?
This is like where we need a balanced team
Sock,
to like
man.
errata this card to give it plus 10 damage, and then like
I mean,
all would be well with the world.
There's
Still
gotta be
2
ways
shots
to-
to Thunderous.
Yeah, 2 shots of Thunderous. I mean, with a laser, you still 1 shot the Thunderous. I mean, that's good.
Yeah,
You
but
get a laser and a Silver Bangle.
the whole like maybe if you made it cost fighting, right, and then you could give it that 10 extra damage.
You can't change the cards, Pram. They're gonna be what they are.
It's a very depressing number with Silver Bangle. My hopes got like raised so high, and I was just like, 10, 4, 3. No.
I think I wouldn't write it off. Let's go that far. Like, I mean, the fact that if you do decide to play this deck and add laser somehow, you manage to fit this stuff, then you're looking at a really good deck, man. I mean, it's only going to have to be 1 sock. It's not like it's not like you're playing a sock deck.
Yeah.
There's got to be some sort of a rock Pokemon so I could make a rock and sock connection deck. One time, let there be a rock Pokemon.
You can play Rock and Rolla.
There we go.
Rolla, there you go.
We got Drew's deck.
Rock and Rolla
Bring it
sock.
out, baby.
Alright, something I want to
say
point
that.
out. Sorry, go ahead.
I'd rather play this deck than Credilli.
Oh, don't worry. We'll have the playtesting team decide what your fate is.
Something cool I want to point out that Exobyte actually just pointed out. All of the Elite Four and the Champion Pokemon have attack names that are similar. It's like something of something, like Sock, for example, Kick of Righteousness. Reuniclus has Telekinesis of Nobility. Golurk has Iron Fist of Justice. Haxorus has Strike of the Champion. So it's a pretty cool theme. I don't know what
I like
the
Iron
other
Fist
ones are.
Justice. I mean, that's just the way it is.
It's like
Attack is awesome.
Aggron. Aggron has Aura of the Land. These are very elongated attack names. They're very official sounding.
It's a very cool theme, though. I like it.
Yeah. I think my favorite is
Uh,
Iron Fist of Justice, though.
Well, yeah.
There was a part 1 to this question that we avoided. What was it?
Oh,
is
Mewtwo Deoxys.
I tested this deck heavily before Worlds, and it was really good. But it wasn't like it was like very all in though. You either got there or you didn't.
I'm not a fan of decks that have to use Plasma Badge to really get there.
But
It's not my
2-0'd
thing.
you. Remember?
It's not my thing still, man. Just because it gets there doesn't mean it's just going to get there every
Sometimes
time.
you just get there. Sometimes you don't, unfortunately, and that
I
was
lost
just
to
a
it at
shame.
Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at what record did you lose to it?
That was my third loss. So I was 1-3 at that point.
1 and 2 at that point.
Well, I was 1-3 after I lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said,
So, I mean,
sometimes
it was a 1 and 2 deck. I mean, that's the problem.
don't get me wrong. There's a reason I didn't play it. Sometimes you get there, but sometimes you don't. So
Exactly. So that's. I mean, I don't like the all-in stuff. That's not my thing. Didn't it 2-1 me? It 2-1 me. It didn't 2-0 me.
whatever. I think it was like 2-0, and then like
No, I won.
played a
I
third
won the
game.
second game. Then you won the third, and that's when
whatever.
I just quit PTCGO for the day.
Yeah.
So
It was a fun game though. All I did was X-Ball, and it was great.
terrible. No, the deck's
All right.
not bad. It's just too all-inish.
All right, that was our last question. So we're gonna wrap up this show. So thanks guys for watching. But we'll give our individual sign-offs. Drew, go Go ahead.
Why you put me on the spot, man?
We're closing the show out. Say your piece.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Follow me on Twitter at Drew Holton. Please follow me. I need it. I might be doing... I think I'm going to put something on the site tomorrow. You notice we've been a little bit more active lately. Hopefully that continues. I hope you guys like what I put on the site. I don't know when I'll put it up, but please come check it out. What do you got to say, Ben?
Hey guys, thanks for watching the show. This was a good one. You know, we had a lot of news come out today, so we felt the need to talk about it. I got a new article, and I'll be streaming again on Tuesday. I'm gonna have all the technical difficulties sorted out by then, and we'll be good to go. And I'll have a new deck for you guys to look at. It'll be pretty sweet. Take it away, Krim.
All right. Twitter is at Crims23. At Crims23.
That's right. Look at the stream to remember.
I did. I actually looked at the stream to remember. So please, add me on Twitter. I love to interact with people. As a matter of fact, this morning, I was so excited about the news that I couldn't hold it in. I wanted to talk about it. I think you should follow all of us on Twitter. Follow at Top Cut Pokemon as well, but we'll get to that soon. But yeah, Twitter's big. Twitter, please follow us because that's how we're going to grow social media. That's how we're going to grow Pokemon. That's how we're going to grow Top Cut. You guys want us to grow. You guys want Pokemon to grow. Do that. Social media, big stuff coming out of that. Thank you guys very much for your kind words when it comes to the commentating. As you can tell, I was a little nervous, and as you can tell, we were all, a little surprised by how incredibly grand this undertaking was for the World Championships. Like, when we had an entire directing team and everything, it was just awesome. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed our commentary. We promise to get better if we do end up doing it again, because this is, there's nowhere to go but up. This is a learning experience for all of us, but we did our best, and I'm sure that it came out pretty well. Like, at least that's what people are telling me, so hopefully I didn't lie. But it was fun. It was great, and I can't wait to do it again if I do get to. I am going to be doing a lot of playing this season, which is a lot more than the zilch that I did last season. So follow me on the topcut.net. I'm going to be doing. I need to come up with a better name for this whatever I'm going to be doing, because I call it. I'm thinking Crim's Victory Road. So please, somebody give me something better than that.
You would be stealing that from someone who's already done Victory Road.
Oh, really? Well, there you go. Exactly. This is exactly why I need.
You should know it too.
Yeah.
Jeremy Jalen.
Yeah, even I knew this one.
Oh, I didn't know that. Whoa. All right. Well, I wouldn't want to plagiarize my good buddy Jeremy. So
Yikes.
somebody come up with telling me a good.
I wonder where you came up with that idea, Crib.
I'm stumbling fall. I just read that. That's funny. So yeah, I don't know, man. I need to come up with something that really explains to people how I'm going to be going from not playing to playing a lot. So hopefully that goes well. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Follow all of us on the Top Cut. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff for the TopCut.net, man. Seriously, watch that stuff. We're going to be doing good stuff for the game and for our site. So Pram, go ahead.
Okay. Yep. Again, follow us all on Twitter, all that jazz. Yeah. I'm gonna be at the Helsinki Open along with everyone but Krim here. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but yep. So come say hi to us. It's always great to meet you guys and all that stuff. Hope you liked the Pram's Breakdown series. I'm gonna try and do more. I'm gonna do a deck every week, hopefully, and yeah. And that's everyone I met at Worlds. It was great meeting you guys. Hope to see you guys again. And take it away, Kyle.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll have a lot more videos and stuff for you soon. We're also starting to post more articles on our site, so please check that out. Please support us and spread the word. Be sure to follow us here on Twitch TV, and you can see when we go live. We stream every Monday and now Tuesday with Ben, and Thursday as well. Of course, Bad Deck Monday is always fun, so check that out. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook, Top Cut Pokemon. Check out our website, check out our YouTube channel, Top Cut Pokemon. We just uploaded the finals of the Top Cut Invitational. We got all sorts of videos going on to there. And again, thank you guys for supporting us. We're hoping to bring you guys bigger and better things this season. And see you guys next week at the Kozinski Open as well. But until then, take care, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
There, guys.
Peace out.